E agora a gente vai ouvir um convidado internacional que vem diretamente dos Estados Unidos. Ele é o Szaky e ele vai falar sobre Terra Cycle, um caminho para a circularidade. Olá, Tom, você está aí? Se apresenta, por favor, e conta para a gente o que você faz.
My name is Szaky. I'm the founder and CEO of Terra Cycle and Loop. And, for me, I created the company because I was really interested in changing the role of profit in a for-profit company from being the purpose of the company to being an indicator of health, and instead the purpose of the organization being how we can help benefit the planet or how we can help benefit society. And for me, I fell in love with the topic of waste because everything in the world we possess will one day belong to a garbage industry. And that's a very big idea, especially in a world that is very materialistic today. And for how big of a concept that is, it's the only industry that will one day own everything. The level of innovation is relatively low. And so I felt like it was a really wonderful place to innovate and change perceptions by eliminating and elevating the idea of waste, and also something that was very purposeful and a good business at the same time. Sure. There's many ways to frame recycling. I think actually the most important is the difference between technical and practical recycling. So technical recyclability is the question, can something be recycled? And in fact, almost every object in the world does have the capability to be transformed and recycled. Practical recyclability, which is, can a consumer in Sao Paulo or in London or in New York be able to recycle something? That has to do entirely with, can a local garbage company make money? Now, when we transform an object, there's many different terminologies used, but I typically think about an object being split into three concepts. The material the object is made from, let's say in a plastic cup, that is the plastic. Then there is the form that material is in. In the case of a plastic cup, that would be the plastic looking like a cup. And then there's the third, which is the idea of the object. And in a plastic cup, the idea is to hold a beverage that you can drink. Now, the very best thing we can do is not buy the object at all. Then, after that, it's reuse. Reuse is where you value all aspects of the object, the form, the idea, the form, and the material. Upcycling is where you value the material and the form, but not the idea. And then recycling is where you value the material and not the form and not the idea. And so clearly, the more we value, the higher and the solution will be, and better for the environment overall. On recycling, the way TerraCycle recycle things that are hard to recycle is that we solve the economic problem. Because what makes something not recyclable is that it's not economic for a garbage company to do so. And so by getting funding from the manufacturers of the products or from retailers who sell the products or other stakeholders, we're able to effectively set up recycling solutions for things that were otherwise absolutely not recycled. So it's the economics that are the most important. Then, of course, we have to figure out, how do we collect the waste in an efficient, safe, and exciting way? How do we then process it through really interesting science and innovation? For example, in Brazil, we invented, how do you recycle sponges, which had never occurred before, and many other examples. And then we also have to figure out how to drive value for whoever is paying for it. So it's a good investment for them, not just an investment in doing the right thing. Yeah, and in fact, I think the idea of greenwashing is a very important one, and it's a double-edged sword, right? For consumers, right? To answer your question directly, it's sometimes hard to know if that green claim is credible or if it's even important, right? So it could be a credible green claim that's not important, or it could be a green claim that is important but not credible, or any combination. And so the easiest answer to all of this is, if you don't buy an object, you don't have to worry whatsoever. In fact, the solution to the environmental crisis we're living in, whether you care about deforestation or animal rights or waste or any of the many topics that are facing environmental trauma today, The central and simple solution is don't purchase, because when we purchase things, we are voting for more of that negative impact to occur on the planet. So that's actually the very simple thing where we don't have to learn anything. Just try to reduce our consumption. Now, if we consume, at least in the world of waste, right? That's at least where I'll have some domain expertise to share with you. It's always the simplest usually wins. So that's where the best is reuse, then recycling, then recycled content, then biomaterials, then at the end compostability. And it also has to follow this idea of simplicity. Now, the other area of greenwashing, which is important, is we have to be careful when we accuse companies of greenwashing, because many times, especially large organizations, are so worried about being accused of greenwashing. And I've been in many of these meetings where they say, let's not even try doing any green activity, because anything we do, someone's going to claim greenwashing, and then why should we even bother? So we have to use it carefully, and then simplicity is usually the easiest way to understand the details behind the product. Loop is a platform for reuse. As a platform, consumer product companies can enter and create reusable versions of their products. Think like your orange juice, now in beautiful reusable packaging, or your laundry detergent in wonderful reusable packaging. And then we work with retailers who then make those products available to consumers. So as a consumer, you can go to your favorite retailer, buy your favorite brand of product or products in reusable packaging. When you purchase it, you pay a deposit on the value of that package. And then when it's empty, you bring it back to a store, you drop it into a Loop bin, we give you your deposit back, and then from there we take it, clean it, it gets professionally filled and then sold to another consumer. In fact, Loop is like how Germany manages its beverage system, or Canada its beer system, but imagine for absolutely every product from your shampoo all the way to your ketchup. And so far, it's been growing very quickly. It's live now in Canada, US, UK, and France, as well as Japan, and soon launching in Australia and Germany, and then of course soon, we hope, in Brazil as well. Yeah, it's a very good question. We've been proudly operating in Brazil for over 10 years, running wonderful recycling programs for everything from sponges with 3M, to coffee capsules, and many other, even pens with Faber-Castell, and like really, really great stuff. And the people of Brazil have been phenomenal in caring about recycling for over a decade now, at least as long as we've been operating there, and I'm for much, much longer. We are really excited about the opportunity to bring Loop to Brazil. In fact, we're having many really good conversations with retailers and brands in the region. It is complicated, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but it is in the plans, and we hope to be able to bring the ecosystem in a few years, starting in probably the major cities of Rio and Sao Paulo. Yeah, so TerraCycle has the TerraCycle Foundation, which we launched 2 years ago through initial sponsorship from the PepsiCo Foundation, now the Coca-Cola Foundation, the Benioff Foundation, Resonance Philanthropies, different funding sources. And we have set up operations in Thailand, where we are deploying a fleet of river cleanup devices that are cleaning up the rivers. Last year, we removed about 500,000 kilos of river plastic from the rivers, and this year we will likely do even more. And we're now, with that success, looking to see how we can expand it to other countries around the world, like India and so on. But we're able to this way enter into emerging markets with our thought process, which has been challenging before. So we really look forward to growing the foundation and seeing how we can grow its impact. So thank you so much for inviting me and letting me speak today, and look forward to the next time our paths will cross.
Muito obrigada, Tom.